Fallout, it's all you. Go.
Fallout's all me. So, Terrence, I've been playing Fallout, as you know.
For
Fallout
too long.
For far too long. I've been playing Fallout 4 since before I met you, which was, it's been
like 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years now. So this is all Fallout 4, and let me tell you, the way I play games, I get a lot of criticism from some of my friends because I play games too long.
Yes. You're addicted.
No, it's not an addicted. I like the exploring. Okay. So I had a buddy of mine.
He's the trophy guy. You like, man, he's got all the trophies. Yeah, he's in it for all the trophies. I just beat God of War, and I'm like, man, do I really want to fight these Valkyries? And there's a part of me that's probably going to give up on those Valkyries. Like, but Herbie's not going to give up.
No, I probably won't. It's like same thing when we both played Tomb Raider.
Yes.
And you were asking me, what am I doing taking so long? And I was like, no, I'm in the tombs, man. I gotta solve these puzzles, man. I gotta, pull the, like, and that's where I get my joy out of it. And so with Fallout 3, New Vegas, Fallout 4 is all kind of like a long story for me. So I really enjoyed my time. So I took my time with all the DLCs, and I've now completed all of Fallout 4, Nuka World, Fall Harbor, and Automatron DLC. And so I'm kind of giving like an old man's 2018 review of it, and I would say, and it's convenient too because a lot of it's going on sale.
Okay.
And
also 76 is coming out.
Yeah, and Fallout 76 they just announced it. So I was just giving my opinions of it. So Fallout 4, I've been playing it since the game came out, and it takes place in Boston. So what they would call the
and you're an East Coast guy.
Yeah, so from DC, but that's where Fallout 3 was kind of a bigger connection for me. So being in Vegas now, I got to see kind of all aspects of it. But they call it the Commonwealth, which is one of the territories in Fallout universe, and you get to see a lot of the cool sites in Boston. But the story is a little unique because in Fallout you're not quite the original Vault Dweller as in some of the other Fallout games, and you have a very clear plot when you're looking for your son. And that main story, I thought was really well done. I know there's some criticisms online where some people said it wasn't as good and it's not as deep as Fallout New Vegas, but I really enjoyed the story. I thought it was really hard early on, especially when you kind of run into ghouls, because in this one, ghouls run at you. Like, they just kind of bolt straight at you. And so, I had a little bit of hard time with that, but I did enjoy all the extra side characters that you met. Okay. I ended up leaning pretty hard on Dogmeat, and then eventually I never used and then I started using Curie, the robot. Okay. So I kind of like having robots because they can hold more gear, and I'm a hoarder when I play these games. And they added like a whole new city development where you can kind of build your own towns, and that got a little too much for me, but I know there's a lot of folks out there that like to build their own communities and games, and they get a kick out of it. But I just enjoyed exploring the game. Yeah.
You're a player. You're not the coach.
Yeah, man. Like I'm here for the whole experience, and I'm kind of sucking it in. The Fall Harbor DLC, when I finally got to that, I didn't like it as much because it was a very foggy, kind of old London-y kind of environment, and I was just not buying into the story. But with Fallout, I chose this time to choose a different faction that I showed my allegiance to. Historically, I'm always with Brotherhood of Steel, and so for those who don't know much about Fallout, are you familiar with it?
No. So
the Brotherhood of Steel is a old group pre Fallout War where they try to preserve technology that they find throughout the wasteland. Okay. So, but they kind of hoard it, so they're kind of like as good of a good guy you can get.
All right.
And they're also remnants of those who fought the communists back when the Chinese-American War within the game. So in this game, though, they have a plot line. A funny thing about robot rights. Now, I have some firm beliefs about robots and rights. I don't think robots should have rights. I've always felt that way.
Blade Runner 2099.
Bro, listen, robots can't have rights, man. That's a slippery slope. So in this game, you find out that there's three factions. There is the Brotherhood of Steel, who wants technology. Then you have this organization called the Institute. Now, the Institute didn't just make robots. They made these advanced synthetic human beings. And so they walk and talk and they look and smell like humans. And it's so much, they're so human that some of them don't know that they are robots. And a major plot of the game...
You saw Battlestar Galactica. That's a plot point.
Is that a plot point?
One? Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen the newest one. Mm-hmm. And then, so you can align with the Brotherhood of Steel.
Synthetics or humans from AMC. Yeah, I'm with you.
Well... It's called the Institute. So the Institute made the robots, and they are trying to recover all the droids.
Okay.
Right? Or the synthetics. Yeah, and then there's another organization called the Railroad. So kind of reminiscent of the Underground Railroad liberating the robots. So there's this whole plot line in this, right? And what the Institute does, not the Institute, what the Railroad
So
does.
wait. Are you about to tell me you pro-slavery? You went with the institution?
There's no slavery when you make the robot. The robot was made to do a job. It's not slaves. And they don't turn sentient on their own yet. They have to be unlocked to think a certain way. So you're not going to trap me with this one, right? The video game robot, I made it. And the robot does what I say. And the Railroad wants to...
Don't teach people to read.
No, gotcha. They want to find all. They created this refuge for all the robots. But here's the problem with the robots.
They don't know they're robots.
Some of the robots don't know they're robots, okay. And then you have to they have to kidnap and reprogram the Institute technology. So that's where this big war comes in. The Institute has this proprietary technology that they created for these robots to help rebuild their society. Brotherhood of Steel wants that technology for themselves, so they can implement it in their way. The Railroad feels that you should not be having robots do whatever you want. Right. And so the plot carries on into
So this is how you were like, Solo, this robot that wants to free all robots. I'm against you in here. I'm against you.
I'm a firm believer of anti-robot rights. The Animatrix. Did you watch the Animatrix?
Yes, I did.
So there was that big part when the robots became sentient in one of the animated scenes.
And, I mean, it's Terminator. It's all the 80s movies.
Oh, yeah. And I've always been on the side of do not allow robots to just dictate whatever they want. I've always felt that way. With Terminator 2, The Matrix, like, you see what happens.
Yeah, so
it doesn't end well for humanity.
So I agree with that. So, but don't give them the AI.
No.
Yeah.
No. So don't give them
the
AI.
Keep a robot a robot.
Now, they weren't torturing the robots. So I want to make that clear, right? It wasn't like...
It's not real slavery. Slavery
No. I'm trying to think of this. I'm trying to think of another movie, AI, with that boy
Have
from
you seen
Sixth
Humans,
Sense?
the TV show on AMC? So Humans is see one episode and you'll get it.
Well, they had that in that movie AI with they had like the little boy, the teddy bear. Oh, I can't remember his name. He's from The Sixth Sense. Haley Joel Osment.
I know you're talking about.
Right, and they had this whole plot where they were using the robots to fight each other in like a torture chamber. Like, I'm not saying that. Anyway, this has nothing to do with that. But with Fallout, what's cool about the main plot, you choose a side, and at the end there's this big battle, and the ending will determine
the future of the robots,
basically, right?
Okay.
And so, but then when you play the DLC for Far Harbor, your allegiance carries on. So if you align with the Brotherhood of Steel, the Railroad, that plot has a subplot over there. It's
okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really excellent.
So you like the connection, but you just didn't like the game overall?
I just didn't like the environment. Like, I really didn't like the environment. And so, but the ending was really good. It was a good plot.
Isn't this the one that's underwater and all that?
No, it's like further out in the fog.
Oh, okay.
So, but then there's the third DLC, which is called Nuka World. It's supposed to be like Disneyland out in Fallout. Not a big fan of it. Online, the reviews, people said it was a lot of fun, but I just felt that all the work from Fallout 4 didn't really carry and apply into that DLC because they had new factions and new gangs that you had to align with. And it just wasn't feeling it. It's like basically control of Disneyland, but I didn't feel connected at all to the story.
So this is what I'm feeling from you. It's kind of like what I think about Assassin's Creed, and it's kind of like sometimes you always feel that sometimes things get so oversaturated. You really have to go work really hard to go from take a franchise and like every year or every couple years, like up your game. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you can go well. Like I wasn't a big fan of Assassin's Creed, but the one where you're the Native American and you cutting people down, man, I fell in love with it. I was like, oh man, this is like best game. It had all these historical facts. And then there was another one, and then I was like, I like that one. Then I don't like this one. And I think sometimes the developer gets saturated, and so you're gonna like some and not like others because of it, because there's so many out there.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because this will be a great opportunity to kind of wrap it up. Now that I'm done with Fallout, I'm going into my backlog of games, and one of that is Resident Evil 7. And I am a major Resident Evil fan. I don't know if you know that, Terrence. Silent Hill, I'm especially a major fan. So everything, I may talk about that another day, but I'm just giving like a very early comment about Resident Evil 7 because I'm about like 5 hours in right now. I love how they just threw the old model out the window.
Okay.
And everything that's going on now with the remake of Resident Evil 2, like, I'm really excited about all that because I felt that Resident Evil became stagnant. Once they figured out this formula from Resident Evil 4...
Shoot, zombies, fun. Scare.
Well, that's how 4.
Okay.
Did you ever play the old ones?
I played the first one.
Like the very first one, you weren't into it?
No, I loved it, and then that was it.
But so you played
I have a real thing about, like, it was like PS2?
PS1.
PS1, yeah. So I played the first one. I will be honest, I am not... It's not that I'm not pro the horror genre.
You can't take it?
It's just not for me. And I just like, man, I play games for fun. Like, hee, or crush that guy's head with God of War. Yeah, we're like feeling... I think... the characters I play are powerful and, like, fun. And, what was the one? Oh, God, what's the name of this video game? What's the one where it's Lost in Space? Dead Space?
Dead Space, yeah.
So, after I played Dead Space, and I remember I'm up in there, I'm like, hey, I'm looking for a game. I'm a school teacher. It's the summer. I need something to do. And the guy was like, hey, play this, but it's scary. I'm like, what's scary? Oh, my God. So I had to start playing this game with the lights on and music in the background to calm me down because I was jumping at the screen. And I was like, that's not what I play video games for.
Man,
like,
don't play Resident Evil 7 because I felt Dead Space was tame as heck.
Compared to
Silent Hill and some of the earlier Resident Evil games.
Nah, Dead Space messed with me.
So Resident Evil 4 changed the formula quite a bit, but then they got stagnant. Okay. And Resident Evil 5 was good, then 6 was like, this is terrible, right? Like, they just milked this angle of more action and less horror. This one is clearly going back the horror route, and I'm looking forward to talking about it in the future, so just kind of stay tuned for that. But my overall review about Fallout 4, again, I'm going to give you the old man review, the discounted $24.99 edition of Fallout where you get all the DLCs. That's what I'm technically talking about now, 2018. Right, old man review. Definitely play Fallout 4, but manage your expectations for Nuka World. I think Fallout 4 is definitely worth full price at this point.
4 is great. DLCs, you gotta pick them right.
Yeah, well, they all come together now. It's like it's kind of the
sport pack.
Yeah, not the greatest hits, but like the Game of the Year edition,
Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, so the Ultimate Editions are out and they're constantly going on sale.
Okay.
So I'm kind of reviewing it at that price. Definitely worth the money. It's a lot of fun, and if you just like one of the games you get lost in the world, I think Fallout 4 is it's good. It's a good buy.
All right, Fallout 4. If you played it, let us know. Put it in the comments. Thanks.